Hello, my name's Cluna, although I suspect that most of you watching know me already. Really, this is to celebrate the lunar eclipse, the full moon in Gemini on the 30th of November 2020. I don't doubt that it will have some relevance if you do decide to watch it another time. Really, what I wanted to do was a Zoom meditation tonight, but I've been so busy and I just couldn't really get my head around doing it and organising it and promoting it. So I thought instead I'd just do a video that can be there for anybody who needs it or wants it, and hopefully can sort of contribute as well and add some of your own ideas and what you do around the full moon to manifest this amazing energy. And I've been wanting to do something like this for such a long time, and it's really easy to just not do it, to be honest. And I've called this video releasing and receiving, and it could also be thought of as like releasing in order to receive, because what struck me with all of us really, myself very much so, is that we can get stuck very easily, and things that are stopping us are often really of the realm of the mind. They're not necessarily physical obstacles. Sometimes they are, but we also create those barriers. And so doing a lot of emotional work to clear that is so important. And the full moon, especially a lunar eclipse like this, and in this year, this 2020, which has been such a year of sort of self going inside and really trying to differentiate between, being isolated and being able to use that time of solitude to reflect and to grow, and also to create new ways of feeling like in a community. So without further ado, some of the things that I have had guidance, or other people that I listen to have been talking about, or things that have come to mind, or things I've researched, are first of all, talking about things that block us. I'm very interested in animal spirits guidance, and this moon, one of the names of it is the beaver moon, and I'm very excited because there's a whole rewilding projects going on in England and near to where I live, and there's some bit further away, about sort of 60 miles away, but there's a beaver who's been reintroduced literally like 5 miles away from me, or slightly more. And they were really, if you don't know, they were pretty much hunted out of existence. So to start this whole process of supporting them back into nature, and these are in reserves, so they're not in wild nature because they were hunted for lots of reasons. And I only found out they're vegetarians and they don't eat fish. So they're not actually over hunting themselves, the fish in our rivers or anything. So that's kind of interesting, but they've been reintroduced. So beavers are, and it's a project that's exploring their effect on the river, and there's a lot more detail. I'm not an expert, but I think they're fascinating animals. And I've been putting off this kind of thing, and I think we all do put off things. So how can we manifest this beautiful energy and strong energy, face our fears, and start bringing in not only what we think we want, but actually what we need. And so I looked at the beaver card. I'm afraid it's going to be backwards. I've got lots of oracle cards, and this is the where's the box gone? So this is the Power Animal Oracle cards by Stephen D. Farmer, and the beaver. Aren't they just beautiful? And I always think of the beaver in the Narnia films and the Narnia stories, you know, Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe. I think, are they in the other ones too? Well, they're definitely in the Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, and they rescue the children and help them get away from the sort of the Snow Witch or the Ice Witch and her wolves. And it says resourcefulness. No, it doesn't. Put my glasses on. It says productiveness, and go ahead and just do it. Yeah, so that was perfect for me, because literally I'm not a perfectionist, but I don't really like to fail, and part of this thinking about what I have to let go of has brought up loads of things like, you know, wanting, a bit of fear of failure, but also not thinking I'm good enough. Why on earth would anyone want to listen to anything I've got to say? Or, you know, but the thing is, we have all got something to share, and so it's not an ego trip at all doing something like this. It's literally because I can't be doing this with a group of women or group of people locally at the moment. It's just not possible under lockdown. So yes, go ahead and just do it. So beaver has got a really beautiful, I've written some other things down, it's got a really beautiful energy, trusting in your creativity, which for me at the moment, I'm in the process of starting a project with another friend who's creative in a different way, and accomplishment comes through cooperation. So knowing that you can't always do everything on your own, and finding ways of collaborating and cooperating, ingenuity, so finding ways out of difficult situations. And beaver, I mean, that's perfect for the time we're in now, because we're all having to look at different ways of living, different ways of relating to each other, of keeping friendships going, and romantic relationships, revisiting what those all mean, sometimes returning to old ways as well. I use aromatherapy, and I've done a little spray, although I've just done a little dousing on it, and I think I need to change it. But I'm to set the scene for me tonight, to start manifesting and to meditate. I've been using the oils, and I've used things like frankincense, lime, orange, clove, rose. I always use rose, and those, you know, are not just pretty perfumes. They very much stimulate different things and different emotions, and help focus, for example, help ground. That's a whole nother sort of video, but doing things like that can really help you get started in this sort of meditation process, because this is what this is leading up to, all this talk. But this is more guidance really about what this moon and what this time, if we harness it and work with it, can bring us. So the beaver, beautiful beaver. Stop procrastinating. As people that know me know that I do have a problem with that. Keep grounded and balance work and play. So the beaver works blooming hard, and it's called the beaver moon apparently because this is the time when they start to build their dams to protect themselves against the cold that's coming, the winter. So I don't think they hibernate, but I'm not an expert, so if they do, apologies. I don't know my beaver knowledge. It's also a call to action, working in cooperation, you know, with the universe, with the angels, with spirit, with who you work with or who you believe in, how you interpret that, and friends and sort of soul friends on this plane, you know, down the road, your friend, your colleague, the person that you've just sort of started talking to, that you're getting really excited about because you've got these interests in common and you spark off ideas with each other. We have to be discerning, but also really following those kind of intuitions about the people we work with and the ideas, and not letting go of them, like grabbing onto them and writing them down, not letting them go. So Beaver is saying, go ahead and just do it. So don't let fear stop you. So that's a really great message for today. There is a thing, you know, so as it gets darker, our body starts producing melatonin, so we start to get sleepier. It's like a sleep-inducing hormone. So I am tired quite a lot at the moment, and I think it's actually quite good in a sense, because I haven't got the urge to go out and party, and we can't. You know, we're in a form of lockdown, and work is enough actually at the moment. But I also don't want to use that as an excuse to be totally lazy, because there's always things you can do. And I'm starting some of my creative projects by you know, setting up templates, looking at websites, looking at setting up a community interest company. So doing that research and starting to network a bit. But I don't want to just force myself into something and do something that's going to be disastrous. But you have to take the steps. And the Beaver takes steps. It doesn't just build a dam like that. It's stick by stick by stick. Some tried and tested methods, but also ingeniously using whatever is available. So that's that one. What I wanted to do as well, colour therapy is really important to me, and I'm going to be offering colour therapy with my other treatments, with massage and Reiki, and also with aromatherapy, because the oils work really brilliantly with that kind of vibration. So I wanted to use a card from The Secret Language of Colour by I don't know how to say her name actually, Inna Segal. So I think it's Inna Segal. And colour is something that we can all use in our daily lives. And these cards are lovely because they come with the guidance as well, each colour. And when you look at the colour, you can find it in nature or in jewellery, in crystals, and it can all combine, you know, whatever sort of interests you. I decided I've been really drawn to all that rose gold, and I looked on here, and rose is so beautiful, and if you put rose and the gold together, I don't know, that's just a gorgeous, if I could blend them in together, it's a gorgeous combination. And one is, you know, attract abundance, and the other is attract a relationship, and both of those together are all about bringing in love and abundance in all sorts of forms. So those colours are really like drawing me in at the moment, and that's what I want, some of the things I want to bring in to my life. But I'm just going to ask for a card for all of us. Just some guidance for this full moon. And I've lit a candle, and I have been kind of preparing for this, but I didn't want to prepare for too long, because I said I'd procrastinate and I'd never get it done. And I'm not going to look at the clock ticking, even though it's quite long, right? Okay, so this one's come out, which is Azure, Protect Yourself, number 36. So I think one of the things is there's a real emotional height. Everything's heightened at the moment. The full moon also has that effect of shining light on the shadow part of ourselves. So it is an opportunity to look at those and to release them, because, you know, we're basically driven by those unconscious fears or emotions or memories, things that we cling on to, some that we become conscious and then unconscious, and if we don't actually become conscious of them, we're really driven by them. So we want, it's in order to become the masters or mistresses of our own story, of our own ship, of our own life, we need to be in control of those and not be driven by these sort of primal instincts or past behaviours or fears or emotions. So protecting ourselves, I think there's an awful lot of energy of fear and some of negativity. I've had some dealings with people that are kind of trying to rip me off, and I'm starting to get a little bit paranoid about people not being trustworthy and things like that. And there are people out there that will use this opportunity of lockdown and just will use any opportunity to do illegal things or to make a bit of money without having to do anything, or by stealing kind of by default or whatever. But the point is, really, we can't get lost in that. And part of the sort of the meditation and working with the full moon is to be able to create for yourself a haven, an oasis within yourself, and to allow yourself to deal with your own emotions and let them surface, but also to protect yourself and be able to try and visualize and put a bubble of protection. I always like a bubble. I like those kind of rainbow bubbles that used to blow as a kid, and I still do. I like playing with bubbles. But protect yourself from other people's emotions and be able to differentiate. I definitely myself have been feeling other people's tension and anxiety, it's not always easy if you're forced in a situation where you're having to deal with somebody, but that's feeling like that. But it's not just there, is it? It's in the media and it's all around. And I'm finding lots of social media quite tricky at the moment because we don't always have ways of venting in other ways. And so venting on social media always feels quite manipulative and quite dark and harsh. So one of the things I've been learning is actually how are we feeding ourselves, not just physically with food, that the more crap you put into the body, the crappier your body will function. It's like putting in the wrong, I don't really want to talk about cars, I'm so sick of cars, but putting in the wrong diesel or petrol or filling it with something else, or not filtering it, the car's going to kind of start to shudder, it's going to start to break down. But we need good food, we need good time in nature. How are we feeding ourselves spiritually? And social media can be quite poisonous, I would say. So find other ways of communicating with people, or when you do feel like venting on any of the social media platforms, because they can be real sources of joy and communication, and I talk to people all over the world and connect, and it's very lovely. But when it's dark, and it can be, there's not a filter. We need to filter, just like we'd like to filter some of our water or filter what we put into our vehicles to get around. We need to filter what we listen to as well and what we take in. So protection is part of that. That was a long explanation for that. In the book, Azure is, let's have a look. Azure, and look at it, it's a beautiful sky, and I don't know wherever you are, but here we are getting some beautiful blue skies and sun and moon at the same time. Like the last few days, I've watched the sunset and the moon rise at the same time, and to have the beautiful combination of that, it's just magnificent and magical. It makes me glad to be alive, which nature can do. Many things can do, but nature is it makes me feel in awe of the fact that I'm still alive, so and that I'm so lucky to have this nature around. As purifies your aura and strengthens your connection to the divine, leading you to discover your truth and empowering you to make important life choices. Immerse yourself with azure rays to protect yourself from negative, dense energies and to find your centre. Protection. Breathe in azure rays of light to feel safe and secure, imagining an azure bubble of light that surrounds and protects you. Say, I ask divine healing light to surround me with love, peace and healing. Please bar any dense energy from entering my space and affecting me. Thank you. Do this for yourself and loved ones whenever you would like some added protection. So as I said, I've had a couple of things where people have kind of ripped me off of money online, nobody in person, and my daughter's not been sleeping that well, so I've sort of said about asking angels to come and kind of stand at the doors and the window and feel protected, but not do that out of fear, but just to make you feel grounded and protected. So I'll just do that one again. So if you just take a deep breath and just come into your heart and try not to I'm being really distracted because my son is upstairs playing football in his bedroom. And he's very slim. He's not a heavy lad, but he's very tall, and he sounds like a herd of animals running around. I don't know. He's only got 2 feet. Anyway, so try and breathe into your heart, into your centre. Imagine that beautiful sky, azure blue, surrounding you as a bubble of light, protecting you, where nothing but love can get out, and all you project out is love and calm, peace. I ask divine healing light to surround me with love, peace and healing. Please bar any dense energy from entering my space and affecting me. Thank you. I'm going to pull one more. That is an interesting one. I'll show you the cards that I pulled, which are very good for the meditation. I've just looked at that one. I just literally opened the cards, but I didn't shuffle them. So I'm going to go with it because, oh God, look at that though. That's like one of my favourite colours, lilac. How beautiful. Strengthen your faith is lilac. But the one that I first pulled out of the pack was another turquoisey, and I'm actually covered in turquoise. I've got turquoise leggings on. I've got a little bit of orange on my skirt for a bit of my top rather, for a bit of creativity. So turquoise, awaken your empathy. Oh, that is so beautiful. I'm sorry, I don't know if you can see the light. It's quite difficult, isn't it? This is the first time I've used this laptop. I've just got one after not having anything for a long time. Wow, I could totally get lost in that. That is so beautiful. I love these cards. Awaken your empathy. So, I'm going on about people ripping me off. Well, also, it's finding a way of being empathetic and understanding people without being overwhelmed by them. My eyes are hurting, but so I'm just going to take them off for a minute. Without being overwhelmed by their emotions, by being so empathetic that you can't function because you just feel everything from them. There's a real fine balance, and sometimes it's the discernment really between it's the discernment of what is their emotions and what is yours. So we can just get swamped by them if we don't learn to protect and have a little bit of separation. So compassion for someone, but not being totally drawn in, and actually creating a block and a stuckness for ourselves through through reading someone else's emotions and not being able to see where we end and they start. Like, we are all connected, but being overly empathetic, as in, just not having any sort of boundaries can make us quite ill. So but we do also need compassion rather than feeling separate and suspicious of others, because this kind of situation of being in lockdown can make us feel like that. I'm just going to grab a cup of tea quickly because it's getting cold. Got my little fox mug. I love this mug. I love this mug. It's my little cheery mug, and a little bit of discernment and cunning and ingenuity comes with the fox as well. And he's very misunderstood, so I feel a lot of empathy for foxes, although I do know lots of people who've lost their chickens to foxes. Turquoise. I'll just read this because there will be another little or large meditation or something to do with that. Awaken your empathy. Oh, yeah. The moon as well, in Gemini, which I'll talk about, is very much about communication and resetting that communication, going deep and communicating clearly and with compassion. So turquoise inspires the use of communication with feelings, builds confidence in your ability. So I definitely need this today, so I'm covered in turquoise. Connects you with your intuition and awakens your empathy. Turquoise makes ancient wisdom available and provides a sense of connection to your inner mastery. Hold something turquoise to awaken your empathy for others. So this is explaining what true empathy is, and I know a lot of empathic people, but they do get overwhelmed by other people's emotions and they can't really function, and it can create, like, rather than compassion, it can create quite a lot of judgment. So when you empathise with people, you let go of your judgments and place yourself in their shoes. Allow your spirit to soften and receive an opportunity to support, encourage and inspire others. Hold something turquoise, a crystal, some fabric, a flower, to remind you of your ability to help others. Then tell someone who needs to hear it that you care about them. I care about you, whoever's listening. I do. There's lots of people I care about. And actually, one of the reasons why I wasn't able to prepare for doing the video, the Zoom kind of meditation online was, my loved one needed a bit of help. One of my loved ones needed a bit of help to navigate through some really hostile and quite a uncomfortable and challenging situation that he's in. The biggest way to prevent diseases is to show others that they matter. How interesting is that? The biggest way to prevent diseases is to show others that they matter. Say, I can now place myself in other people's shoes and talk to them from a place of love and compassion. So this full moon is really, really important for compassion, for communication. Compassion with yourself first. But also to allow you to go deep in, and a lot of astrologers have definitely been identifying how the energy at this moment, and lots of people have been feeling it without being able to just really be able to describe it. This kind of is like a window or a portal. It's an opportunity really to do that final work and purge those things that we don't need anymore. Now I've been doing this for years and years and years, but I really get a sense now that it's possible. And that's only come through facing a lot of things about myself that I really didn't like, a lot of things that I was frightened of, and still am at times, things that I projected as being outside but actually are inside me. And I'm just looking, I've got my little Alice in Wonderland cushion with the blue butterflies, or the turquoise butterflies. And transformation is an amazing thing, but it can be very painful. But also I'm always reminded when I think of Alice in Wonderland of you've lost your muchness. And it's a big phrase for me that I want people to find their muchness. I want to find my own muchness again, which some of that is the sort of childhood, childlike wonder. It's also finding that passion without so many of those restrictions that we put on ourselves as we grow and our ego grows. We're sort of tied to fear of what others think all the time, or that we're not good enough, or all those kind of things. So let's try and find our muchness again and be much more muchier. We're the master of our destiny. We really are, but we can work in harmony with the energy around us. We're not just two-dimensional, three-dimensional beings. We have auras and we have energy fields and we connect, and we are stars. We come from stars. And I have some friends who won't be watching this who would argue the science of it all, but I feel very connected to the stars and the moon, and I've always felt since a child. When it's a new moon and it's very dark, I often have quite sort of deep, hard times when things come up that I don't want to face. The full moon, I always feel energetic, but at the moment I know that I'm being asked to really look inside and start to shift those things that I don't need anymore and that are stopping me. Some of that could, what are we all hoarding? I've got rid of so much stuff year after year. Moving house helps, and I may move in the next year. I think for me, there's a lot of clutter that I don't need. This is not a sacred space for me to do this, and I'm really aware of that. So that is something that I want to create, more space, with less stuff that is irrelevant, and less mess. And I have a creative project that I want to get going. As I said, we do need to release in order to receive sometimes, because we can't, while we're still working, while we're still working on these things that are holding us back, and our body is like stuck in that, and we're finding it in different parts of our bodies. The energy is stuck in different parts of our bodies. We can't really fully receive. I'm a great believer in the emotional foundations of disease, and that our bodies hold not only memories and water. I do believe water holds memory, and we are very much water, but our bodies and our muscles, we have sense memory, and trauma is very much reflected in our body, even from our birth or when we were in the womb, and from past lives. But so in order to release that, we can't without addressing the root cause. If we keep just putting, for example, massage, cannot. I'm a great believer in massage, and I am a massage therapist. But massage cannot. You have to look at things from a much bigger perspective. It cannot just fix that knee. That's without exercise, without the proper attention to it, and also without looking at maybe what's holding you back. If your knee is constantly going, obviously it could be put on weight, and that's also a way of kind of stopping and becoming stuck by focusing and distracting yourself into food. And I've done that myself, so I'm speaking from experience. But we need to really look at what we can release in order to receive from the universe, but also from others. And we say we know what we want. I've quite often written down what my affirmations are, what I want to manifest. But I know that I'm still got blocks, so that will prevent me from that, or prevent me from seeing what is in front of me or taking that opportunity. So what are we hoarding, emotionally, physically, in our bodies, possessions, even old clothes? I love recycling my clothes. I get all my clothes from second-hand shops, but so I can't shop at the moment. It's quite sad. Also things like files on computers. My phone is completely chock-a-block now, and I can't use my phone, so I'm using a laptop. And also it's things like what has happened to us, those stories that we tell, when someone says or ask you a question, what is the story you tell? How do you describe yourself, or how the situation you're in? Do you go back to that same story that tells of you as a kind of victim, or you as being wronged, or you being the villain, or you being not good enough, or what is the story you tell? Or do you avoid it all by making a joke? And humour is a great thing. Self-deprecating humour is a great thing, but it can be avoidance as well. So, I just want to show you the card from the Gaia Oracle cards by Tony Carmine Salerno. I haven't actually got the pack, but God, there's a scary picture of Nicole Kidman on there, so it's just distracted me. I've got an app on my phone for the Gaia Oracle cards, and they are so beautiful. I gave my pack to a lovely friend, and I've just carried on using this app, really. Right, where is it? So I'm not going to show you that. This is just so I'm afraid the card's going to look backwards. I don't know how to mirror this so you can see the words, but this is perfect, really. So the card that came out was number 21. I'm not going to talk about numerology, I don't think, because I'll digress too much, but I might do another one about numerology. Numbers are so powerful and can be great tools for self-development, for manifesting, for understanding patterns, things like that in ourselves. So this card was remembrance, resurfacing of past feelings and emotions, and thinking about how the moon is so connected to the water. Hold on a minute, sorry. Right, can you see? So she's come out of the depths of the sea, hasn't she? Beautiful. Covered in ivy and plants. She's been in the depths of her emotions, and now all those feelings are coming to shore to be looked at. I'm just going to read what it says. One of my children. It is said that all that we have is the present. While that is true, it is also true that in essence, past, present and future are one. We are connected energetically to both past and future. Life is an evolving story, and where we are now is a result of where we've been. This card signifies that past feelings and emotions are resurfacing from deep within you, and you may find yourself on an emotional roller coaster over the coming days. Do not fight it. This is all fine. It's important to occasionally remember and honour your past, for it is part of you, part of your soul's journey. Yet remember to honour every part of it, regardless of whether you perceive some parts to be good or bad. For in some way, every experience has helped to expand your understanding and appreciation of life. Occasionally reflecting on the past is healthy, just as giving some thought to your future is wise. However, excessive preoccupation with either only serves to rob you of the present moment, and that serves no real purpose. Your affirmation for this is, I bless my past and I am grateful for every experience. For every experience has helped me expand my understanding of love. My life is forever unfolding as it should. The past, the present and the future are one. I honour and respect my feelings and emotions, for they are part of my story. So, having empathy for other people who are acting out a bit at the moment is a great thing, but also to honour yourself and to allow those emotions to come up and to not try and dumb them down, but not project them onto other people, but to really sit with them. It's part of a cathartic process to do that, and if you don't, they will. If you keep pushing them down under the surface and you don't allow them to come onto the shore, they will explode into a big, tumultuous storm of rage. Yeah, a big storm. So, most of us, I imagine, I certainly have done that before, and that is not acknowledging the pain I felt or the fear or the anger and not communicating it in a compassionate way. So I do, part of what I'm going to suggest tonight and as a practice, which some of you do I'm sure, is to write down when you're wanting to express to someone, rather than going onto social media and writing a tirade or writing a text, or even going round to someone and just raging at them or at yourself, is to write it all down, especially if you're not sleeping at night. Let it just pour out. It doesn't matter how it comes out or how it sounds, how it's written. And then leave it. Tonight I'm going to burn what I write, but that's I'll come to that in a minute. Leave it and come back to it. And 9 times out of 10, you won't have the need to speak in that way to that person that you think you've perceived has wronged you, or you won't feel so angry with yourself, or you'll start to get a deeper understanding of what's going on, and be more compassionate with everybody involved or the situation, and you won't blame others, the universe, the government, whatever. I mean, I'm not saying there isn't responsibility for the government and things. We all have responsibility in our own lives for our actions. But we're talking about our own self-development and that our loved ones' lives. The other card that I chose was a hidden gift, sadness, an ending, a new beginning. Let me find the picture. Beautiful picture. This is number 9, and 9 in numerology does represent many things, but it is the end of a cycle, making way for the new, reconciling family differences, ancestral problems. A hidden gift, sadness, an ending, a new beginning. The angel featured on this card reflects the sadness that you feel at present or may experience sometime in the coming weeks. So if you've noticed, both the cards talk about this energy carrying on. So just be aware and be kind to yourself. You may actually want to go in the water, but we'll talk about that in a minute, because that can be very cathartic. I've had a lot of dreams about water lately. Torrential raining, rivers and the sea and all sorts. But yeah, be aware that this energy is not just here tonight and then gone. You can work with the moon for the next few days, but what it brings up and what you allow to come up is not just going to disappear. So, but it's a work in progress. So just be aware, but it does get easier, and you'll find you're less triggered by things the more you understand what is triggering you, what is actually triggering you, what is the pain or the hurt or the anger or the emotions that you're feeling. Or something you cherish has or may come to an end soon. It is human nature to fear change and be saddened when something we love or are emotionally attached to ends. However, this card has a positive side and reminds you that every ending heralds a new beginning. This is simply a law of nature. Nothing is ever truly lost. Things simply transform. New beginnings are in store for you, brighter and lighter than ever. There is a hidden gift attached to this event. When the timing is right, you will receive a precious gift, either in the form of positive news, a new revelation, or an unexpected turn of events that turns out to be in your favour. Whatever it turns out to be, it will, without a doubt, warm your heart and fill you with joy. In the meantime, be aware of the love that surrounds you and allow it into your heart and trust. The universe is guiding events to unfold in a way that is for your highest good. The affirmation is, I trust that all is unfolding for my highest good. Love and light fill my heart. I give thanks for the blessings I receive. Every ending marks a new beginning. All lives eternally in my heart. Not externally, eternally. But the in and the out are connected. As above, so below. As within, so without. There was a... Let's have a look. I haven't got it. I don't know what I've done with that. But I was reminded by someone I was listening to on YouTube, and he was talking about his yoga teacher just saying, this is slightly contradictory but not totally, part of meditation practice is really to try and assist you in being present in the moment, so that you're not driven by the past all the time and about things and stories that are not happening now, that are of your own creation and your interpretation, and you're not stuck by things in the past. And the yoga teacher reminded him that, if you're constantly where the future is now, in the present moment. This is where we are creating the future. So this present moment is what you have. This is all you have, but it is important, and it's the most important moment, because this is when you create what is to come, the choices you make, the way you see things, what you do now. The past really is the past, although everything is connected. Sometimes, the more skills you have at being present, and that really is what meditation is trying to enable you to be more present, to feel with all your senses what is going on, and not be lost in worry and mind chatter that is taking you away. So it's not about clearing the mind. I think when I first started many years ago, I thought it was just about, I just want to have an empty mind. But mindfulness is actually presence and not being driven by unconscious, not being triggered, not thinking always about worrying about the future, regretting the past. It's finding a way of truly embracing the moment with all our senses. And the more we do that, the less decisions we make that are based on fear. And that is a really great thing, surely. And I think the more discerning we become and the more intuitive we become, we can make better decisions for ourselves and our highest good, and realise, sometimes what's motivating us are things that are nothing to do with the situation that we're in, or the time that we're in, or the person that we're with. That is part of the process. So some of the things I do to release are using water, so swimming in the sea, which I haven't done for a long time, but I have some friends that go swimming in the sea at this time of year, which is autumn, winter. Wow, but amazing. In the shower, really thinking through those things you want to release and allowing the water to wash them away. In the bath, really soak. I have salt baths, Epsom salt baths, and allowing those nutrients to go into your body, but also then allowing all the gunk to be washed out. And you have to kind of imagine it going, otherwise you're just sitting in it, aren't you? You're wallowing in it. So down the plug hole. Crying. A good cry is releasing. Water is such a releasing element. Obviously drinking lots of water to detox, so you're physically detoxing as well as emotionally. Now, what I'm going to do, what I tend to do, is write down what I want to manifest. But actually, as we've just been talking about, you can't manifest without releasing what's blocking you. So I've often written down what I want to release. Now, this has to be I don't know, you'll get to a point where you know when it's more true and authentic, and I'm getting there, I think, myself. And one way of doing this is by asking yourself questions rather than just saying, I want to release unforgiveness for this relative or whatever. If you've got your own kind of questions to prompt you, then that's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. These are just some little tips and they helped me. I've started doing it already. So for example, one of the questions I'm asking myself is, what am I afraid of? What am I afraid of? And I'm not talking about spiders, although that's interesting because I'm not that afraid of spiders, but occasionally I am when they're big, as big as my hand, or the legs look big, or they're thick. I digress. Spiders are symbolic of perseverance and creativity, so am I afraid of my own creativity and power? Possibly. But what am I afraid of? What am I really afraid of? And really going deep, and you'll know when you're being truthful to yourself. And I've written quite a few things, and I'm so glad that we had Beaver, because Beaver gets on with it without self-criticising. Build that dam to keep the cold out. It doesn't have to go in this order, obviously. Who or what makes me angry? That's quite a loaded one. Who do I need to forgive? And don't forget yourself in that. We need to forgive ourselves for allowing things to happen in the past, or you know what you need to forgive yourself about. Don't forget yourself, because we can't. If we just project onto other people, we're not taking responsibility for our own role, but we don't want to wallow in that and let that stop us and keep us stuck in the mud and the stories of the past. And what is holding me back? What is preventing me from those wishes and those affirmations and those dreams that I know are part of my soul purpose, part of my reason for being here, and my passions? What's preventing me from grabbing them or taking those steps? And doing all this, you're taking steps towards them. Really and truly practicing this can help you release, and maybe thinking about some of these before you do meditation. And you don't obviously have to do my meditation. it's going to be a little bit improvised, so I don't know how it's going to go, but as I said, I'm going to follow the beaver, and I'm just not going to kind of wallow around and be too fearful of it going wrong, because if it goes wrong, it goes wrong, but it's never really wrong, is it? It's you got to try. And even if one person listens to it and gets something from it, hooray, that's amazing. There's so many people that I have listened to and got just what I needed at that time, and I'm very grateful, but might not have listened to them again. I think, is that it? I think that's it, really. But then what I tend to do is have a fire, and if you can have friends around, which we can't at the moment in this part of the world, have a fire and support each other to burn those things that we want to release, and the smoke releases it up to the heavens. Very lovely, very lovely. Was I going to do another card? I don't think I was. I also bring out water into the full moon, under the full moon, and let the full moon energy energize the water, and use my aromatherapy then with that water. So it's quite nice to write an affirmation on the bottle, or whatever you can put crystals out there, obviously, to energize them too. I'm going to do one more animal card. I haven't brought any other cards out. I like to do fairy cards. I'll probably do a fairy card for myself. And you can see I can't shuffle. Oh, jeez. I'm just going to do this. Just say, is there one last message for us for this full moon? Some sort of blessing from the animal world to give us guidance for whoever sees this in whatever time. Okay. Oh, you beauty. Now, I think this is my Patronus, but I recently went on to, if you know Harry Potter, Pottermore online, and I did the test again, and instead of a white mare, I got a chow dog. I'm not very happy about that. Nothing against chow dogs, but white mare as my Patronus or chow dog. So this says you always have a choice, freedom. So that is really important. This isn't about someone giving you an instant fix, just like I said about massage. Massage will not fix you. You have to be in relationship and cooperation with that therapist. You have to not go and carry all your shopping home 5 minutes later. You have to do those exercises. You have to try and release whatever it is that you are carrying on those shoulders emotionally. You have a choice. You're co-creating with the energy of the moon, with what you believe in as spirit, with the universe. And if you believe that we are all connected and all living beings are energy based, we can create whatever we dream of. We really can. Nothing is impossible. I'm just going to read what it says in the book. Oh, I love white horses. I'm so glad that came out. How lovely is that? I feel like it's perfect. Oh my goodness. I do like read cards with my own sort of intuition, but I just love the way that Stephen Farmer writes, and he brings in sort of Native American wisdom. Okay, this is a really important one. What we were talking about, those old stories. So it is actually saying what you need to do to become this free horse is to release. So it fits in really beautifully with what we're trying to do today, and not just today. Let go of the illusion that you're somehow a victim. Know that you always have a choice in every and each situation. Take responsibility for the consequences of that choice and stop holding on to any belief that you have to somehow suffer through or endure the circumstances of that choice. It's very much on my mind at the moment through talking to a friend or two about situations that just, you go back into the story. Yeah, but it was like this one was against me and this happened, and I totally have compassion for that. But if you keep telling that story, you'll never get out of it if you're always the one, the victim. Yeah, and if you don't see how you may have helped co-create that situation. Anyway, once you fully allow this reality, you will automatically shift into experiencing greater control over your life. You can choose to do whatever you want, to wander about or to stay in place, to go forward, backward, or even sideways, to be dependent or autonomous, to continue doing what you're presently doing or to alter the course, perhaps to pursue Spirit's calling. Your soul has made a choice to incarnate into the body and being of the one you are. Once you surrender to that fact, it becomes even more difficult to play the victim, and your ultimate trust in life becomes magnified. You can choose to hear and respond to that inner voice, or to quell it and run from it. So choose. Do what makes your soul sing, and do it with gusto and passion. Integrity, compromise, speed and agility is the message of the horse. Do it with gusto and passion. That is the whole purpose of releasing, to actually be centered in your passion. And your passion is really part of what you're here to do, and that joy will shine out. When I used to make films years ago, and I used to teach, and I would just say, your story, what you love, what's you inside your essence, will create the best ever, the most unique. You will be successful because it is truly expressing you, and you are a unique person with that perception and creativity. There's no one like you, and what you love will shine out, and people will warm to it and be drawn to it, and it will give them inspiration. So yeah, get unstuck and get ready to receive. And if you want any tips, I'm sure you all do it anyway, but the aromatherapy, I have a lovely candle. So when I do a little meditation in a minute, I'm going to just let you focus on the candle rather than my face. I think because this is over an hour, I'll put the cards up separately as well, but also, gosh, yeah, it's such a long thing. If you want to learn anything more about aromatherapy, or would like some packs of aromatherapy for you to do yourself, or you'd like some sprays for new moon or full moon, or for joy, or for other things, please have a look. And I haven't actually got all the products up, but they'll be up soon. And also just message me to ask. And blessings to you. Have a beautiful full moon, or whenever you're watching it, have a beautiful evening or day, and may every moment be special to you, and may you find your passion again and your muchness, and be much more muchier, because that is truly our mission, to return to our essence and to share that light with others. Thank you so much. See you again.